You know, I started with this program 7 years ago. I'm 7 years older, and you guys are the same age. All right, a couple of housekeeping things real quick. Pictures for the Senate, House of Reps, and Supreme Court. Make sure you were in your Class A's when you were getting those pictures done. Again, Senate, House of Reps, Supreme Court. City pictures. If you want a city picture, you need to visit the Boys State store. Fill out one of those slips. It's $3 to get a picture. We need that as soon as possible so we can order them and get those pictures here to get them to you. We have a lost and found in the office. If you are missing anything, I know there was something dropped on one of the buses that we have, and something dropped in a hallway that we have. So if you're missing anything, stop by the office. That's it for the housekeeping. All right, if I can have you all stand, please. Color guard, please present the colors.
Color guard, attention. Forward. Post.
I'd like now to invite Greg Runyard up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and then the National Anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me. Twilight has been, whose rough rocks and
from Stell Keller County and Asheville, Illinois.
All right, please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for another great day at Boys State. We are forever thankful for you providing us these great counselors and legionnaires to lead us throughout this week. From teaching us how the state is run to helping us grow as young men. We know this week would be impossible without these leaders, and we are so thankful, very thankful that you have provided them to us. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to grow as young men. Amen. Amen.
You may be seated. I would like to take a few minutes to tell you about an American Legion member that I have come to know and admire. This veteran's grandfather was a German immigrant that came over in 1920s with just a suitcase in hand and settled in central Illinois in a town called Claytonville, population 22. He volunteered to serve during World War II with the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper. He was one of the first to go through airborne school at that time. He then came back to Claytonville to raise a family and serve his community. His grandson, Matt, grew up on the family farm in Gilman, Illinois. Matt didn't mind the hard work. In fact, he wanted more. Matt was ready to serve his country at 5 years old, but was told he had to wait. And wait he did. It was a long 12 years for Matt, but then by the time that time had finally come. Matt's mother knew that this was what he'd always wanted to do, and although his mother objected, he convinced her to sign the waiver that was needed so that at 17 years old he was finally able to enlist in the United States Army. Matt completed his initial training in Fort Benning, Georgia, and then was off to Fort Myer, Virginia, still a private. What Matt realized is that his backyard, where he now called home, was Arlington National Cemetery. As Matt puts it, he was one of the only living residents at Arlington. Matt volunteered to train as a guard for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. This started 3 weeks after his 19th birthday. Matt admits that he was probably the clumsiest guard that there ever was, but worked to hold that position for 42 months. Matt ascended to Assistant Sergeant of the Guard as a Buck Sergeant, E5, which historically is held for E6 and above, which awarded him the Tomb Guard Identification Badge, which is rarer than an astronaut badge. Matt eventually was put in charge of recruiting and training, all while he was suffering from terminal brain cancer. Matt, to his dismay, was medically discharged in 2005, but put up a hell of a fight. Matt then returned to Illinois to fight cancer head-on, all while completing a Master of Divinity degree to possibly return to the Army as a chaplain. But the Army denied the attempt immediately due to the cancer diagnosis. Matt has been cancer-free for 5 years now. Matt continues to serve his community and country in his local American Legion and volunteers in church ministries. As you may have already guessed, Matt also volunteers his time and talents here at Premier Boys State and has done so for the past 2 years. Gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge my Army brother and your city councilor and assistant militia instructor, Matt Creed. Matt, will you stand up?
introduce our Director of Etiquette.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm Jason Hill, your Director of Etiquette. I was asked to make a call on a certain matter that happened last night at our memorial service. It is perfectly acceptable, and not only acceptable, natural, for a grown man to cry at the microphone in front of 163 children. You're welcome. We have some light housekeeping to do. Bear with me. You guys gotta stop messing with Ronald. Our intrepid World War II veteran, who on the first night you were here, well, we all know what happened then, but this afternoon, one of you found yourself in the restroom with Ronald, and you skipped out on washing your hands as he was coming in, and he saw it, and as he was about to say something, you said, "I love you." To which Ronald, of course, being the kind gentleman that he is, couldn't help but say, "I love you too." He's resting comfortably now. We have someone on watch. He'll be good to come back. So, well wishes to Ronald, everybody. And whoever did that, please just stop it. Stop it. John and Mary have a note from custodial services. Apparently the best part of waking up is not Folgers in your shower head. That was coffee grounds put in the shower heads that they had to dig out, which explains why one of our counties smells like cheap coffee. So, to whoever's doing that again, and whoever brought the chicken broth, stop it. There's really only one way to win that game, and it's not to play it. Please stop. And finally, last but not least, from Tony over at Health Services, another long message from Tony. Let me just read it verbatim here. My wife says she's leaving me because I'm addicted to antidepressants, which is cool because then I won't need them anymore. Hang on, no, sorry. Hang on a minute. I was joking, Sharon, come back. And then he says, it's really hot this week, so stay hydrated. Also, socks prevent blisters. Thank you, Tony. Only some minor issues really came about today, and that is on being where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. I'll just leave it at that and make certain that you check your schedule, which is online. There are changes that are sometimes made to the schedule that don't get posted, but they should be posted on the doors or around the dorms, so make certain that you be aware that there may have been a change to the schedule, and if there is a change to the schedule, you are expected to find out and adhere to it. If you have any questions, of course, your counseling staff will be aware of it as well, so make certain that you check on with the resources that you have to be where you need to be. So, without further ado, it is my great pleasure and great honor to introduce my friend of these many, many years. His name is Dan Lasella. He's the director of our contests and awards. Dan?
All right, good evening. Following a funny lawyer is never easy. Earlier today, especially when I'm in non-funny CPA, earlier today, the Federalist and Nationalist Party State Central Committees had their organizational meetings and elected their leadership. The Federalist Central Committee Chairman is Andrew Hemming of Canatzer-Hayes County, and Champaign, Illinois. The National Central Committee Chairman is John Chambers. The Supreme Court also had its organizational meeting today and elected its leadership. The Chief Justice is Zach Geller, Stell Keller County in Waterloo, Illinois. And finally, the House of Representatives had its organizational meeting. The Speaker of the House is Thomas McComb of Savage Kennedy County in Sycamore, Illinois. Savage Kennedy County in Canton, Illinois. Congratulations to all. Today is also the first day we will be awarding the Model County flag based on your participation in activities and the outcome of various sports competitions. If we announce your county's name, please send one citizen up to retrieve the flag from Joe. Today's model county is Canatzer-Hayes.
Members of the American Expeditionary Forces who had fought to victory in World War I were restlessly awaiting passage home when they gathered in the City of Lights for what became known as the American Legion's Paris Caucus. In the months that followed the armistice of November 11th, 1918, they had time to think about life after the war and what they might do in support of their wounded comrades, in honor of the fallen, to help surviving spouses and orphans, to protect the democracy they pledged their lives to defend, and to chart a course for future generations. These troops envisioned a different kind of Veterans Association. It would be like none before it, nor any that would follow. The American Legion came to life in Paris, France, March 15th to March 17th, 1919. The American Legion would be built on strengthening the nation, not serving themselves, through 4 primary pillars of volunteerism on behalf of veterans, defense, youth, and Americanism. This is a large part of who we are, gentlemen. Now it is a part of who you are. Please watch as our story begins.
Cree history of volunteers guided by alumni of Plattsburgh, New York Citizens Military Training Camp set the stage for the American Legion to establish its founding purpose, mission, and vision. In late January of 1919, 4 line officers of the American Expeditionary Forces, Lieutenant Colonels Theodore Roosevelt Jr., George A. White, William Donovan, and Eric Fisher Wood met in Paris to discuss the recent death of former President Theodore Roosevelt, their imminent mustering out of service, the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, and what might happen at home when nearly 2 million newly discharged combat veterans, many sick, disabled, gassed, and shell-shocked, return to civilian lives in their home communities. The following month, Roosevelt Jr. convinced General John Blackjack Pershing, commander of the American Expeditionary Forces, the AEF, that a morale conference was needed for the troops still stuck in Europe waiting to go home. Roosevelt Jr. called another meeting in Paris, this time 20 officers, 9 of whom had trained at Plattsburgh, to plan the conference. They agreed that enlisted personnel should be invited.
Well, no one really knows how many members of the AEF attended the American Legion's formative Paris Conference March 15th through 17th, 1919. Organizers expected around 300. Some estimated more than 1,000 attended. The Paris Caucus produced a temporary name for the organization. It's one that would later become permanent, along with membership criteria and draft language for the preamble to a constitution.
We, the members of the military and naval services of the United States of America in the Great War, desiring to perpetuate the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy for which we have fought, to inculcate the duty and obligation of the citizen to the state, to preserve the history of incidents of our participation in the war, and to cement the ties of comradeship formed in service, do propose to found and establish an association.
The 8 months following the Paris Caucus of the American Legion were nothing short of remarkable. At the St. Louis Caucus, May 8th through 10th, 1919, delegates approved a draft constitution and preamble, selected former Dallas Mayor Henry T. Lindsley as chairman until a national commander could be elected at the National Convention in November. At the St. Louis Caucus, they chose Minneapolis as the first National Convention city. Committees were assembled, and dramatically, Theodore Roosevelt Jr. declined nomination from the floor that he be made the first national leader of the new American Legion. He graciously declined because he didn't want the organization to be, or appear, politicized in any way.
I want the country at large to get the correct impression of this meeting here. We are gathered together for a very high purpose. I want every American through the length and breadth of this land to realize that there is not a man in this caucus who is seeking anything for himself personally, but that he is simply working for the good of the entire situation. Now, gentlemen, it is my absolute determination to withdraw myself.
Roosevelt Jr. and other Plattsburgh alumni took out loans to finance the early American Legion. Local posts began applying for charters immediately after the St. Louis Caucus. By the end of the American Legion's first year, more than 5,400 local posts would be chartered. On September 16, 1919, Congress federally chartered the American Legion, giving the organization the green light to formally adopt a constitution and bylaws. Powers and authorities were outlined. Membership criteria, exclusive naming and branding rights were established. Also written into the charter was a requirement that the organization shall be non-political and, as an organization, shall not promote the candidacy of any person seeking public office.
By the time of the first National Convention, November 10th through 12th, 1919, membership in the American Legion had soared to more than 684,000, approximately 15,000 of whom marched in the first American Legion National Convention parade. And if it had not been 11 degrees and snowing during that parade, Minneapolis might have won the bid to become permanent home of American Legion National Headquarters. Indianapolis was chosen instead, and Franklin D. Ollier of Pennsylvania was elected first national commander.
8 months after the initial Paris Caucus, the American Legion had gone from an unfunded idea in Paris to a national movement.
And so was born what would become the nation's largest veterans organization. Through individual obligation to community, state, and nation, the American Legion would continue growing throughout the country and around the world, abiding by the preamble to its Constitution as a mission statement.
For God and country, we associate ourselves together for the following purposes.
To uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
To maintain law and order.
To foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism.
To preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in the great wars.
To inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation.
To combat the hypocrisy of both the classes and the masses.
To make right the master of might.
To promote peace and goodwill on earth.
To safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy.
To consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness.
By our devotion to mutual helpfulness.
The founding vision of the American Legion would go on to establish programs, services, and legislative accomplishments that truly strengthened America over the organization's first century.
And one other accomplishment that stands apart from all the rest. A GI Bill of Rights that transformed America and the world forever. And it continues to do so for new generations of veterans and their families.
We have another video for you. Your media production team has been hard at work to give us the Boys State News Network. So without further ado,
Chicago. I live in the suburbs of Chicago. It's okay.
So we've got a lot of things like Chicago's bad, and people don't like living in Chicago. They hate living in Chicago. What do you have to say to that?
I wouldn't want to live in Chicago.
Chicago like the city or like
Yeah.
Chicago's a nice big city with things to do, but it's also a big scary city with places to die.
Why are sewer manhole covers circular? Why are manholes circular? Bad. What do you think happens in Chicago? What goes down? Bad stuff. Bad stuff? What do you think of Chicago? It's a waste of space. Waste of space? Okay. What about the people in Chicago? This is a neutral interview. What about the people in Chicago? I think they're great people. Bad people. Everywhere. Like, if you want to live in Chicago, you're a bad person. Do you think, like, people from Chicago are trying to actively kill you? Like, they're trying to hunt you down? Right now? Yeah.
G squared sucks.
Savage Kennedy County elected 2 senators. And in our first Senate meeting, neither of the 2 senators showed up. The only 2 senators not present for the very first meeting of the state Senate. I am so angry at Senate. What is it? Savage. Oh wait, never mind. That's the wrong county.
I don't know where green senators are.
What do you think of them as people?
Black movements?
You hate them?
Yeah, I hate all black movements.
Wow. Everyone. My name's Leo, and today we've been talking about the random people. See you tomorrow. If you could remove one state Ohio. Let's go cheer for Ohio.
Good stuff. One year at Boise State, before all of you were born, we had a particularly fantastic group of young men. Most notable among them is our next speaker, Brody Walworth. Brody and I had an instant rapport when he walked onto the 4th floor of Taylor North for the first time that Saturday afternoon, as all of you did a couple days ago. As Brody and I are from nearby towns in central Illinois. But things did start out a little hairy for Brody. A fellow counselor and I busted a small group of citizens, Brody included, for a minor rules violation. But that turned out to be a magic spark. Right around then, he was elected to the Boise State House of Representatives, where he pushed for some changes to those rules. While ultimately not successful, he collaborated with others, and by the end of the week, had the love and admiration of citizens and staff alike. His fellow citizens of Savage County nominated him for an award that is now called the Keith Lucas Model Citizen Award. He ended up winning that award over the other county's nominees and went on to represent Illinois at Boys Nation later that summer. Brody ended up graduating from EIU and began teaching and coaching football at a series of high schools in central Illinois and led Pleasant Plains High School to the the state championship game in the fall of 2017. He also has a Master's of Education in Education Policy from the University of Washington and is now Director of the Learning Center and head football coach at University High School in Normal, Illinois. And along the way, Brody has taken the time to come back to Boise State nearly every year, most recently as an assistant county counselor. Over the years, Brody's become a sought-after speaker on excellence, whether on the football field, in the classroom, or in life. You are about to be educated, inspired, and entertained. Gentlemen, a valued member of the Boise State family, a dear friend, distinguished Illinoisan, Brody Walworth.
They know how much I love snaps and Savage Kennedy. Thank you very much, Dan. It's a great introduction, far too kind, more than I deserve. But as Dan mentioned, I'm a teacher and a football coach, and my passion really is helping young people develop into successful, productive citizens who are going to go out and lead fulfilling lives. I really try to lead my day, like wake up every morning thinking about how to help people reach their potential. And so today, right, I woke up, did some football stuff this morning, and came down here to speak to you all because I love this opportunity. I love the opportunity to be in front of people who are here for a great reason, right? To become great leaders of our state, future, their communities, those sorts of things. So I want to use my time tonight to try to talk to you about a theme that I tend to spend, years of education and coaching and things like that working with students, and that's this word, this concept, this mindset called excellence. To me, it's not a word, it's a mindset, it's an attitude. How does one define it though, if it's not exactly just a word? And so, for everyone, and depending on what you're doing, that looks different, but the principles are going to be the same. And those principles are that you're constantly striving for greatness. That you individually have a desire to be the best in your activities at school, the best student, the best football, basketball, soccer player, guitar player, trumpet player, the best Hamlet in the school play, the best Shrek in the school musical, but also to strive for greatness in our relationships. The best friend I can be, the best teammate, the best son, brother, boyfriend, husband, father. Excellence is easy to talk about and wish for, but few achieve it. Why is that? One, because it's hard. It's hard to be great, consistently great, which is really part of what it means to be excellence. Words are easy, action is hard, sustained action is harder. And excellence is a journey, it is not a moment. It's a climb to a top of a mountain that always seems to get just a little bit taller when you think you're getting close to the peak. It doesn't happen overnight. Excellence is uncommon. Most people just want to fit in. They want to get through their day, not stand out, conform to the norm. They want to be normal. Common, normal, average. These words can also become mindsets. The I just want to fit in attitude is incompatible with excellence. So how does one achieve it? I think there are two primary elements to attaining excellence. The first, relentlessly pursuing perfection. Relentless, that's another word that can become a mindset. The best way I've ever heard it described, the way I like to think about it, is it's being non-stop. Think about that for a second. Relentlessly pursuing perfection. A non-stop effort at constant improvement. That's what it takes. Non-stop effort at constantly improving, trying to become the best at what you want to do. I'm a little bit of a nerd outside of my football coaching and education and stuff like that. Huge Star Wars fan. So I think there's a theme in Star Wars that captures what it means to relentlessly pursue perfection. And it's something I didn't understand when I first saw it. There's a scene, Luke Skywalker is trying to lift his X-Wing out of the water, and Yoda tells him this really famous line from Star Wars, "Do or do not, there is no try." I had no idea what that meant. It sounded cool, but I had no idea what it meant when I first heard it. And over the years, I've thought a little bit about that because I was confused. Isn't trying what we want to do, isn't making effort towards something good? Why is this guy telling somebody not to try? And so I now think about it as like playing a game in football in my case, right? Like when you play the game, you are doing. It's not about the winning, it's about the doing. And so when you come to something and say, well, I'll try, what you're really probably saying is, if I fail, I'll never do it again. So do or do not. Play or don't play. The point of the game is to play it and to continue to get better. You're gonna win and lose. It's not about the result, it's about the process. So do or do not. Step out there and play, or don't step out there at all. But when you do it, give it everything you got. And I don't care if that's football, musical, relationships. When you get ready to do something, give it everything you have. Do or do not. Relentlessly pursue perfection. I think it also means to never be satisfied. Never take things for granted, like success or great relationships. Those things don't just happen and stick around once you get them. You have to constantly prune and work to keep them great. So you have to never be satisfied with where you're at. Meeting a goal, great. Set a new one. That's what it means to relentlessly pursue perfection. I also like to talk a lot about process over product. Some people call this decisions over results. Judge yourself by your process, not your results. Did you train hard? Did you study? Did you prepare? Did you pay attention to the details? Think about Michael Jordan, probably one of the most iconic athletes ever. Think about what we know him for. A couple of dunks, a couple of big game-winning shots. Is that what made him great? Did he hit those shots because he just happened to be in the right place at the right time? Or did he spend every minute he could trying to get better? He took the process of being great seriously. And he ended up with those iconic shots because of the work he put in previously. We see the iconic picture. The shot over Craig Elo. The push-off against Brian Russell against the Jazz. Those plays are what helped make him iconic to us, but he was grinding every day, relentlessly pursuing perfection. 6 NBA championships later, he achieved a lot of greatness. Perfection requires sacrifice, commitment, and courage. It takes the courage to resist peer pressure, to do what is right, not what is easy. It takes commitment. If you want to do X, whatever that thing is for you, you want to become a pilot in the Air Force, you want to be a CEO of your own company, you want to be a professional athlete, you better stick with it. It is not going to happen in one day. It is not going to happen quickly. It is hard to be great, and you got to commit to it. It also takes sacrifice. Sometimes you got to sacrifice sleep. Sometimes you got to put your phone away. Sometimes you got to not watch your favorite show. Sometimes you got to not go to a party. You have to commit in all ways to being excellent, because it's not just about one day. It's a lifetime. It's a mindset. Are you going to be great at everything that you have a chance to do, or are you satisfied with being just okay? Step 2, after the relentless pursuit of perfection, is how you handle adversity. Everyone gets smacked in the teeth from time to time by adversity. Sometimes it's a first world problem. Hashtag. It might be a common teenager issue. Your girlfriend broke up with you. Your teacher hates you. Poor you. Your coach won't play you. I didn't score well on my ACT. I didn't get into the college I wanted to. I interviewed, but I didn't get the job. Maybe you had a season-ending injury. To all of those things, you could sit around and go, it's so unfair. It's not my fault. How you handle adversity matters. If you sit around and throw a pity party and say, oh, poor me, I can't believe this happened to me, oh my God, Life's going to be tough because you're always going to be worried about why something happened to you and never acting on it, never doing, but doing not. Life can strike with true adversity as well, not just those first world props. My best friend died when he was 25. One of my students was killed by a drunk driver, and a friend and former coach of mine at Pleasant Plains committed suicide. These are real pieces of adversity that we have to learn to deal with. Those are my personal examples. I'm sure many of you have your own. It's not to say that these things, it's not a competition for who's faced the most adversity. What I care about is whatever it is you're facing, whether it's your girlfriend that broke up with you, whether you think a coach doesn't like you, or whether you got some serious stuff going on at home or in your life, how you handle it matters. It matters how you handle it. So how can something so terrible become part of excellence? There's two ways that I think, two primary types of people when you think about how we handle these adverse events. Type 1, you heard me talk about it a little bit. They retreat. They throw pity parties. They fold their tent. They say, poor me, why is this happening? This is so-and-so's fault. They never take accountability. Okay? They always want to push out what's happening and not take that step forward. Group 2, and this is the group I would want all of you to be in, they fight. People that pull themselves up from their bootstraps, they get out of their pity party, they take on their grief head on, they stiffen their back, and they say, how can I fix it? How can I turn this into a positive? How can I find a silver lining in something terrible? How do I take the next step? The step forward, the hardest one, the first one. Here's my example. Cody Jones, 25 years old, died. Funniest guy I've ever been around. Brought the most joy and laughter into any room you could ever be around. So my goal from that moment was to try to bring that with me anytime I walk into a room. Because as the guys here will tell you, I'm kind of a serious person sometimes. And I have to remind myself to try to bring that joy into every room, that laughter that I know Cody would have been bringing. That was my silver lining. What's yours? How are you going to take your step forward from whatever it is that you're facing in your lives? Do you retreat or do you fight? Do you wallow in self-pity or take that hard step forward? Excellence demands that you fight. If you pursue perfection relentlessly and fight adversity when life throws it at you, through process rather than through singular moments, you will achieve excellence in all aspects of your life. You'll be that great friend, that great teammate, brother, son, husband, father. So if you can do those two things, handle adversity properly, relentlessly pursue perfection, easy to say, hard to do, how do you sustain it? How do you maintain your ability to do those two things? First, you got to enjoy the journey, and you got to think about it as a journey, not a moment. Cherish those moments with your friends and family, but give yourself some rules. In football, for example, 24-hour rule. Win, lose, draw, no draw, thank God. Win or lose, okay, 24 hours. Enjoy it if you win. Throw a little frustration out if you lose, and then get back to work. Celebrate when you get an achievement. When you hit a goal, that should be awesome. Then set a new one. Then set a new one. That's the key. Surround yourself with others who want to be great. The people that are around us matter. If you hang out with a bunch of people who don't care about being great, you probably won't either. Your friends matter. The people that you put in your life matter. You will become a lot like the people you hang out with, even if you're not trying to. So you need to surround yourself with other people who are motivated, who want to be great, who are willing to push themselves and push you. Continue to explore, to learn, to improve. The minute you stop and say, I've got it figured out, or even worse, listen to somebody else who says they've got it figured out, that's the minute you start sliding back down into that world of average, normal, common, good enough. Embrace being uncommon. Take other people's fear of failure and embrace it. Wear it. One lesson from my high school coach, Gerald Temples. He used to say this all the time. Gentlemen, clock's ticking. Everyone's clock is ticking. Your clock on high school and your high school experience and Boys State, ticking. Your life clock, ticking. Everyone's. Have a little urgency to act now, to do rather than do not. To become a person who wants to be excellent in every phase of their life and not sit around and to say, that's good enough. I'm okay. In conclusion, I hope that you all will find something that you're passionate about, find someone that you're passionate about, build meaningful relationships, be relentless in your fight for them and in defense of them. Live in each moment. Fight, don't retreat. Enjoy your journey. Thanks to the Legion and Boys State for bringing me back. Thanks to Dan for his great intro, very generous and kind. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And I leave you with this piece of action. I ask that if you agreed or were motivated or heard anything that you thought tonight was good for me, don't just let it be words. Turn it into action. Take these words back home. Take them through the rest of Boys State. Take them into your communities. Take them into your high school and your lives and your communities and become excellent and push others around you to become excellent. Best of luck on your uncommon journey toward excellence. Thank you very much.
So gentlemen, during the next 2 days, you'll have a unique opportunity to take part in the Leadership Reaction course. You're going to see pictures behind me. Hopefully soon. These types of courses have been used by the United States military for over 50 years in order to assess leadership potential. Here this week, to facilitate this course, we have the ROTC instructors and cadets from Eastern Illinois University and the University of Illinois. This team building exercise is a lot of fun. Take advantage of it. You might find out that you have what it takes to be a leader in today's military, or use it in some other aspect in life. The course times tomorrow and Wednesday are 1:30 to 3:30, and we'll be in the parade field between Taylor and Thomas Halls. Tuesday will be the Federalists, and Wednesday, the Nationalists. Again, Tuesday, the Federalists, Wednesday, the Nationalists. If you have any questions, stop at the Army ROTC table during your meal times. As you can see from the pictures, it's all about working as a team. If I can have you all stand now for the benediction, which will be delivered by Josh Seitz of Keller County and Charleston, Illinois.
thank you for this opportunity to join here together at Boise State. Thank you for the leadership opportunity that we are all granted with here, and the amazing counselors and leaders that we have access to. Please help us to all grow as people, community members, and individuals this week. And please help us to take the knowledge that we learn into our lives. Heavenly Father, please watch over each and every one of us. In your name we pray, amen.
Please remain standing. If I could have the color guard now advance to retrieve the colors.
Color guard, attention, forward, march. Retreat.
Director of Counselors, please release your counties.
This concludes tonight's General Assembly. County Councilors, please take charge of your counties. We are dismissed.
Once someone gives me the network drive link,
What?
every time I reset it, so I have to map a network drive for the government on this laptop. Every time I restart my computer to get its process rebooted, it unmaps it. And so like I keep a paper on my desk that has like the, because it's like TYLMX hyphen